On this episode, we're talking about the cost of maintaining a website, how long should your tagline be, and Miley Cyrus hosting MTV's Video Music Awards. Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to the 88 Dental Marketing Show. This is the internet's only dental show that's answering marketing's most important questions. Don't believe what anybody else is telling you. This is the place. I felt like I went a little high on that. I wanted to make the point. I wanted to just make the point. This is it. This is the only show. So, I am your host, Joshua Scott. This is a big episode number 30, big 3-0. I've been rolling on these episodes since late January. So on track to maybe hit 50 episodes by the end of the year, which I'm stoked about. Hopefully you're enjoying them, you're using them, share them with friends, give them to your office manager or whoever's running your marketing. And just get the word out. It's a great education. And I think together we'll have much better marketing strategies because of it. So that's what's up. A few things taking place, just news. I've got 2 new articles out this month. The first is When Reviews Put You Out of Business. And it's based off this story. I don't know if you've heard it, but the dentist who shot a lion on vacation in Africa and came back, and basically the reviews have been so horrible. 1,500 Google reviews that are just out of this world, and they basically have caused him to shut down his practice. He's fled the country, so the reviews have put him out of business. So that article is down below. You'll find the link down in the show notes. Just scroll down, you'll find it. If you don't read it, basically the moral of the story is don't shoot a lion. That if you don't do that, I think we're good. No, but really the article is about just the impact that reviews are having on everything right now, and how integrated they've become to all your marketing efforts. And so it's a really good article. The second one is How Patients Judge Clinical Skill. And it's based off a bunch of research by 1-800-Dentist and some other sources, but 5 criteria that patients use to judge clinical competence. And to give you a heads up, none of them have anything to do with your education, continuing education, or just even clinical skill. So it's interesting kind of window into patients' mind and how we can market to that to tell the story about your clinical competence. And so that's a really good article. A few other things. Hopefully you enjoyed the On Location episode last week with Dr. Todd Whitlock. If you missed that, just go back to episode 29 and you'll find that one there. Just sitting around talking, chatting with Dr. Whitlock, and his approach to marketing was really fun, getting a lot of good feedback on that episode. And then next week, episode 31, same thing, On Location with Liberty Family Dentistry. Those guys are killing it, and sit around and talk with them for a little bit. And I think we're going to do a bunch of these this fall. So you'll see them kind of interspersed between episodes. Also, the podcast with Dental Town. I got word it's supposed to be up live this Friday. They said 12 noon Arizona time, so which I believe is Mountain time. So probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast here. You'll see that come up, but don't worry about that. I'll have it in the show notes, the link next week. But that's Dr. Howard Fran and I sitting around via Skype, chatting about marketing for an hour. So I think it turned out good, but we'll see. So that's going on, and man, that's it. Our sponsor for this week's show, a new sponsor to the mix here, but this is Richardson Studios. And these guys, so I met Jeff Richardson a few years ago, and in our quest to create custom photography for our clients, we found that it was very hard to get a predictable result oftentimes with just local photographers. And so We used Jeff once. The results were amazing. We loved it. We began to use him over and over again. And Jeff gives us a very predictable result when it comes to photography. And for our business, that's huge. Because we know what that website, we know what those marketing pieces will look like because of him. And so they've been instrumental, well worth the cost, the investment into great photography. So if you're looking for a photographer, reach out to these guys. Again, the link is down below. Book them now. They'll be well worth it. So let's get to some questions.
Our first question is from Catherine McNeely. She wants to know, how much does it cost to keep up your website?
Catherine, a good question. Thanks for asking it. Catherine's had another question way ago in one of the earlier episodes, but she's coming with some question skills, which I appreciate. But yeah, how much does it cost to keep up a website? And I actually love this because it's leading or it's making an assumption already that you think it's important to keep up or maintain a website, and that the assumption is that there is a further investment, which I think is amazing. But honestly, that's the first obstacle, is not just creating a website and putting it up and leaving it and walking away from it for 3 or 4 years until we need to redesign, but the continual investment into the site is huge. And so, this time of year, September, October, November, is a really great time to be strategizing for 2016. By Halloween or Thanksgiving at the latest, you should have your strategy in place for next year. You should know the exact budget of what we're going to spend on marketing. And one of those line items should be website. It should be the continual improvement, development, maintenance of the website. And so there's a few categories there. Number one is SEO. Just the continual optimization of that site and what that cost is and what the strategy is behind it too. I feel like SEO is one of the areas where a lot of people want to play the short game. They want to see SEO results in 3 to 6 months, maybe a year, but very few people play the long game on SEO. And so, especially once they get to the top, and then it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, like, hey, we're there, we've got good positioning. But what's the long-term approach to SEO, and what's the investment there? And each year, how are we going to continue to optimize it and make progress? And so those that can play the long game there in SEO and invest in it are going to be better off. So number one is SEO. Number two is continual development. What are we developing on the site? Is there new content, like new pages being added? Are we updating photography? Are we updating information about services? And just the continual development of your site. So that's another one. And then finally, content creation. Are you writing articles? Are we producing videos? Like, what's being added? What kind of searchable, relevant content is being added to the site? And so those are things I think you got to think about ongoing with the site, and just making sure it doesn't get stale, that it's a vital piece of your marketing strategy, and that you're updating it constantly.
Question number 2 is from Janelle. How long or short should a tagline be?
Janelle, so honestly, the general rule of thumb here is that a tagline should be as short as possible. Honestly, some of the best taglines in the world are 2 to 3 words. So once you get beyond that, for me, the effectiveness starts to decline. It doesn't mean you can't go that way, but I think the other big factor that we would need to consider here also is the context of it. So what I mean is, like, everything else with the brand that's happening around it, because they all got to fit together real nice, like pieces. And so if you have a short practice name, you could probably get away with a longer tagline. Does that make sense? But if you have a longer practice name, you almost have to go the other way and make sure it's absolutely short. Like, for example, we're working with a practice right now, and it's like their practice name at such and such location, right? So blank dental at blank blank. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Blank dental at blank blank. And so it's a that's a legal name. So that's a longer practice name, And because of that, you almost have to go very short with the tagline. And so it's literally 2 words. It was something something. I know this is so helpful right now, right? So blank dental at blank blank something something. And hopefully, I mean, I don't know. I know that's extremely not helpful, but maybe there's a sense of the rhythm there, of the context as a whole. And so that was the strategy there. But yet you could be blank dental something 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 something, and have a little bit of a longer. I feel like this is ridiculous. But I'm just going with it. So, and have a little bit of a longer tagline. So I hope that makes sense. But really the goal is concision. I don't even know if that's a word. It's to be concise. To be as concise and efficient as possible. It's tagline concision. Concision. You heard it. I mean, you heard it here first. That's gonna be. I'm gonna have to put that in our marketing materials. Tagline concision, because I think it's that good. But it's a new word. You heard it here. But that's what you're trying to do: is be concise, be efficient with your language. Sometimes we take 8 words to say something, and you literally could have said it in 2 or 3. And so just distill it down, get it as concise as you can, and that's really the best approach.
And our third question is from Trevor. I've heard you talk about Miley Cyrus at one of your speeches. What did you think about her hosting the VMAs?
Trevor, appreciate you bringing back some Miley Cyrus. I like to talk about her in some of my speeches because it's such a great example of the marketing tension, man. The good, everything we love about marketing and everything we hate about marketing is wrapped up in this 20-year-old pop star. And so it's amazing examples. And again, she never fails to disappoint us. So first and foremost, I watched most of the VMAs. I think technically Miley did an awesome job hosting it. She was a host at a live event, and that takes a tremendous amount of skill. I think guys like Ryan Seacrest are massively underrated for the skill that it takes to pull off a live event. And so I think technically she did an awesome job with the whole event. It's interesting because people after the awards show, people were like, why did MTV have her do that? And that's exactly what they wanted. It was MTV asked her to host because of the publicity behind it. And so Miley came out. She knew she had a platform. She wanted to use it to get attention, which we've seen her do before. And her tactic was shock. So she has a platform, wants to get attention, and is going to use shock to accomplish that. And so if you watched the VMAs at all, you saw her, she came out the very first time, her first outfit, you were probably like, whoa, okay. And then the second outfit, like, oh my gosh. And then by the third and the fourth, you realize she's just trying to outdo herself every single time she's on the stage. And it all led up to her final performance, which I actually didn't see, but I heard it was just a giant mess. And honestly, disgrace to the music industry and the art form behind it as a whole. And so, I think she uses shock a lot. Is that a good short-term play for attention? Absolutely. Completely. Does shock work long-term? I don't think so. And I don't think it's a good long-term play because in the end, there's nothing believable behind it. There's nothing authentic there. And I think we're going to constantly see Miley in this cycle of trying to outdo herself. And in the end, you give her 3 to 5 years and she's not around. And then she's going to show up when she's like 55 again, like Madonna or something. So I think that's what we're all in for, okay? But so, like shock, that's her tactic, that's her strategy. Some people like it, some people don't. If you're selling one product, think infomercials, right? If you got an infomercial and you're selling one product and all you need to do is make one sale to people, shock is a good strategy. You get your infomercial, you just, hey, wow, high energy, just shock. This, does this, and the results are amazing. And you just got that whole thing going. It's shock, you make one sale, you move on, that was it. But if your strategy is repeat purchases, like think Apple, customer loyalty and repeat purchases, it's a horrible strategy. I mean, Apple, this is my fourth iPhone now, and it's getting a little beat up, but I just pre-ordered the 6S last weekend, so I will be on my fifth iPhone. And add to that the laptop, the tablet, the App Store purchases, the iMusic Store purchases. Apple's got a big chunk of my money, my discretionary spending. And so that didn't happen overnight, but they've had amazing products with amazing customer service, and so that's led to that. And for Apple to get into the game of shocking people to get attention would actually backfire on them. And so as a dental practice, do we look at her and kind of learn and watch and talk about it, and is it fun? Yeah, it's a really great study on attention, for sure, in this current pop culture, getting attention, just bad strategy for a practice long term. So guys, that's it for episode 30. Let's get out of here. I feel like this has been a long one. Question of the day, homework for the show. How much are you spending on your website next year? And where are you spending it? How are you spending those dollars? Maybe you're redesigning it. Maybe there's some SEO costs. But just evaluate that. What's the budget for the website? And what are you accomplishing with that budget? Hope you enjoyed episode 30. I will see you next episode on location at Liberty Family Dentistry. See you.